What's happening, y'all? Rich Sosa coming back at you with another video today. And before we get started, I gotta say thank God King Jesus for another day and another opportunity. Now, as y'all can see from the looks of the title and the screen, man, today I got a very special build lined up for y'all. Now, this one's gonna be for all of my slashers out there. Now, as you can see, the build name that we're gonna be creating today will come out to the rare Rim Rocker build. Now, I love the comparison of Zion Williamson. We also get Jonathan Kuminga and Keegan Murray, man. Now, with this build, bro, you're gonna get everything from all of the elite contact dunks. You're also gonna be able to shoot on this build, and I think this is one of the best 1v1 court builds, and especially when it comes towards this comparison, man, like, it can't get better than Zion for a slasher. Now, this is gonna be a build that you can definitely use and find success with it right away as you make it to an 84 to an 85 overall. Rebirth it, man. I'm telling y'all, this is gonna be a nice build to use. Now, some of my favorite things about it is that not only is this going to be a versatile build, but you can pretty much take this into any game mode. So I just want to say thank every one of you for your support. And if it's your first time coming through, be sure to hit that sub button if you know. Smash that like button, turn on post notifications to be a part of the Rich family. Now let's go ahead and get into the breakdown of this build together. So I actually did go ahead and create this one out of the power forward position, and if you want to, you can change it, but I'm pretty sure you're going to get a different build comparison. Now, when it comes towards this build, this was probably like the 8th or 9th build that I brought to y'all, and I think that this is definitely probably one of the better rare build names that I brought to y'all so far. So we're gonna go ahead and put this one under the power forward position. Let's go with the height of 6'6". Once we get into that weight, I'm gonna go with 230, and then for that wingspan, you want to leave this at 6'10". Now, when it comes towards these attributes, the build is super specific, so when it comes towards certain areas, I change them and make them to give certain badge requirements as well as the animation. So you're gonna get a different build name if you potentially change some of these areas. So let's go ahead and make this build first together. And when it comes towards the finishing, I would say this is gonna be the most important part of today's build, but let's start with the actual physicals, because this is where it's gonna allow us to get animations and then badges. So as far as for that speed, let's go ahead and put this up to an 85. Once we get into that agility, I'm gonna go with a 77. And then for that strength, I'm gonna go all the way up to a 91. Now, when it comes towards that vertical, you gotta go with an 85. And remember, this is gonna allow you to get some badges on the possible legend tier, bro. So really pay attention with this build, because I think it's definitely one of the best two-way, slashing builds. This build's gonna be an all-around one. So when it comes towards the actual finishing, let's go ahead and dive into it. When it comes towards the actual driving dunk, I'm going to go with a 96. And then as you can see, when it comes towards the driving layup, you want to go with an 80, so that way you get physical finisher on the silver tier. Now, I'll get into the badges once we get the build maxed out to 99 overall. And then for that close shot, let's go with a 92. And then as you can see, like, as we're moving throughout the build, bro, you're going to get a lot of the badges unlocked at the certain overall that I put the attribute up to. And then when it comes towards the post control, I'm going to go with a 70 here. And then with that standing deck, let's go with a 72. Now, honestly, this looks like a super toxic build as far as for the finishing, man. Like, it does remind me of the 6'7s and 6'8s that we saw last year in NBA 2K24. Now, when it comes towards the actual shooting, bro, I told y'all we're going to be able to shoot. Originally, I did have both my mid-range and the three-pointer upgraded, but I decided just to be more of an interior build, and I'm pretty happy because of the build name that we're actually able to get. Now, when it comes towards the three-pointer, leave this at a 53. We're actually not going to touch this. Now, I know there's going to be some of y'all who are saying, like, how are you going to be able to shoot on this build, man? Like, you can, this is subject to any game mode, so really comes down to your own skill. And I think this build can definitely be a threat on the outside if, you're being a spot up. This build can definitely even set screens once we get into that defensive end. There's a lot of different things that I would take into account in this build, especially the takeovers. Now, for that free throw, you got to go with a 73. That's what's going to open up the floor to play game modes like the Rec and Pro-Am. Now, once it comes towards that playmaking, let's go with a 71 when it comes towards the pass accuracy. And then as for that ball handle, I'm going to put this all the way up to a 77. Now, that's going to allow us to get Hall of Fame strong handle. I think that's going to be perfect. And then for the actual speed with ball, I'm going to put this all the way up to a 75 for a silver lightning launch. Now, if you want to make any type of changes, do it after we create this build together, because this one is very special. And I mean that by saying, look, with each area, bro, if you take one attribute off, it's gonna take away some badges that I'm giving to y'all. So I did take into account cap breakers, so be ready for that once we get into the badges. Now for the defensive end, I'm gonna go with the 74 interior defense. Once we get into the perimeter, I'm gonna go with the 74 as well. So these are pretty balanced, I would say. Now for the actual steal, I'm gonna go with a 73. And then once we get into that block, let's go with a 74. And then for that rebounding, let's go with a 60. Now, as you can see, this is what the build is going to be looking like. We get bronze rebound chaser as far as for the defensive badges, box out beast. On top of that, you also get other badges like high flying denier, paint patroller. And then for that steal, we get glove on the bronze tier, silver interceptor. And then for the perimeter end man, you still get challenger, on-ball menace, pick dodger. Immovable enforcer is probably one of my favorite badges when it comes towards the actual defensive end. Now we still get off-ball pass. Like, this build is still a threat on the defensive side, especially if you know what you're doing. And then you still get paint patroller with post lockdown. So with this high of a strength, bro, I purposely made sure that we went with a 91 strength in order to compete with taller builds. Now, especially when it comes towards those post scores, I think this is the perfect attribute to really combat them, bro. Now we have an 85 vertical, so y'all know we're gonna be snagging some boards. And then for the actual speed, man, like, you can pretty much keep up with a lot of builds and potentially get a lot of chase down blocks. Now, let me know what y'all think about the defensive end so far. But I think this is a really balanced build all around, but you're super overpowered when it comes towards that finishing end, man. The interior is pretty much like, you own the interior on this build, bro. Everything inside of the three-pointer, this is going to be a great build to use. Now we get silver lightning launch for the playmaking. On top of that, for the ball handle, the pro dribble animations, ankle assassin, handles for days. Strong handle is my favorite badge, bro. I'm telling y'all, this is a super overpowered badge to use on really any build that can get it, and it's probably been one of my favorite badges that I've really used throughout 2Ks, bro. So you also get unpluckable, which is nice. And then for the pass accuracy, you still get bronze break starter and then silver dimer. Now for the free throw, we're at a 73. So if you're buying boost, man, like, that's going to be more than enough. And then for that mid range, you still get bronze deadeye, shifty shooter, silver post fade phenom with set shot specialist. Now, if you want to take some away from, let's say, the mid range shot to get some for your 3-pointer, that's definitely an option. But I think it's going to be a little bit better just to, focus primarily on the mid-range shot, just so that way you're able to, be more confident in your shot. But you can really add this in with your post-scoring game, and it can really make you a completely different type of threat on the interior. Now, speaking of the post scoring, as you can see, we get unpluckable here as well. Post powerhouse is going to be key, and then you get post up poet. But I like silver post fade phenom. On top of that, we get hook specialist. For that driving dunk, remember, you do get some extra standing dunk packages. Now, on top of that, you get Hall of Fame aerial wizard, and then bronze rise up. So that's a very special badge. Now, once it comes towards the close shot, Hall of Fame float game, y'all know how overpowered the floaters are. Now, you also will be able to get Devin Booker floater, which is one of the most overpowered floaters to use in the game, bro. So just to throw that out to y'all, I would recommend using it. And then for that driving layup, you get silver physical finisher, float game, layup mixer on the bronze tier. Now, an 80 is all you need this year when it comes towards your driving layup, and you really want to aim to get silver physical finisher, and that's gonna really make you pretty much just as good as somebody with, I wouldn't say a 99 driving layup, but it's gonna be up into the 90s, bro, that you can compete with. Now, when it comes towards that driving dunk, look, we get Hall of Fame posterizer and aerial wizard with all of the elite contact dunks. So I think this build is super special. Now, once we get into the badges, bro, look, we also get above the rim, bully, driver, finisher, midi maestro. So you already know with this takeover, bro, you can get a potentially with boost a 99 mid-range shot. Now you get slice, great wall for the strength, bro. Like, I think this is one of the better and more comp builds that you're going to be seeing in, the stage. This is a real comp build that I'm going to be saying. So let me know your thoughts and opinions on this build. Is there anything that you potentially would change or even do to make it a little bit better? Now, once we get into those cap breakers really quick, if you add it towards, let's say, the pass accuracy, 5 of them, or even, no, I'm going to say the mid-range shot, you're going to be able to get Deadeye, but also shifty shooter on the silver tier. And then you can even down the road, throw more towards, let's say, the pass accuracy. And if you add your cap breakers down the road, the second set that you unlock, we can even get silver break starter with potentially versatile visionary, bro. So it really comes down to the way that you make this build. So let's go ahead and move forward to make sure that everybody made it correctly. And if you followed every step, we should be getting these 3 different comparisons. Now, Zion Williamson is going to be the #1 player that this build does remind me of, especially with this build name. And together we have created the Rim Rocker build. Now, I just want to say thank y'all so much for the support. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this build down below, and if you have something that's a little bit more rare, I definitely want to see that, and potentially I'll make a video out of it and review it for y'all as well. So I just want to say thank y'all so much for the support. God bless every single one of you. And when it comes toward these builds this year, man, I'm telling y'all, there's a huge variety of, pretty much you can make almost any build from previous 2Ks and new ones that they even added in this year, bro. So I think it's potentially, for content creators, one of the best years to be making builds and get out into the community. And I just want to say thank every one of y'all for that support, for also being a part of the most positive community in the 2K community right here, the Rich family, y'all. So before we get out of here, I just gotta say thank God, King Jesus, for another day and another opportunity. I love y'all and I appreciate you. I got another video dropping for y'all tomorrow, and I'll put my previous video down below as well. So if it was your first time coming through, be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Smash that like button. Turn on post notifications to be a part of the Rich family. And last but definitely not least, with all that being said though, I got one last thing to say. Rich out.